button. So we're live now, and then I'm going to put them backstage for when we start the recording of the pod. You'll do your normal thing at the beginning, and then I'll bring Scotty in for week 1 recaps and week 2 outlook, and then obviously bring Prop God in for the normal Prop God thing, and probably put Scotty backstage for the picks for the gambling and whatnot.
All right, sounds good.
So yeah, we are live.
Nick's running the show these days, man.
I love this. He can't pick anything to save his life, but he can run the show.
Oh man, last week was rough, bro.
I had just an epic gambling week.
Same.
I didn't even realize, Beedick, but the Montgomery touchdown, I was telling you this on the phone, Nick. So that was a pod pick, but I was so high at halftime, I was putting in these same game second half parlays, and one was Cooper Kupp 6 catches second half, Kyron touchdown, Monty touchdown, and an alt adjusted Rams +9, and hit for 3,800 in the second half.
Oh, that's
fire!
I didn't even notice till Tuesday morning either. It was hilarious. I'm like, why is there $6,000 in my account? I'm like, this is probably a mistake.
You're like, wait, it hit?
I'm like, what happened?
You gotta love it.
All right, we ready?
Rome shouting out the prop guy.
I love Rome. Rome's the greatest fucking guy ever.
My boy.
We got some new. Who we got? Andre, Kevin. Oh, Scotty's bringing in the people, man.
Yeah, Scotty, the celebrity, bringing in the peep.
Scotty doesn't. No. All
right. I got picks today.
I love it. So
good.
All right, I got our records, Nick. Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
Oh, it just started, Bean. Come on, give me. I'm about to fire off 8 today.
Need a little warm up week.
You know what I'm saying? Just getting loose.
We'll do this, everyone, from Thursdays from this week on. I gotta actually go to the Dolphins game one time this year, which will be tomorrow night. This is my last year with season tickets, as I say every year.
You're done? Yeah, I was about to say you're actually
until they call you again next season.
I'm so fucking done with these people.
Dude, it's like a family legacy for you, I feel like.
It's a family legacy that I'm going to break very soon.
It would break your mom's heart.
My mom would be so...
grandma.
My grandma would be brokenhearted, but she's never here anyway.
Exactly. Your grandma... But still, just telling her that you canceled would just not be acceptable. In the family,
I just wouldn't tell her, and she wouldn't know for 5 years.
She'll fucking know, bro. She will find out.
She's fucking not gonna know. All right, let's all right, Nick, do your thing and I'll start it off. Yep.
All right. Hold on. I gotta remember if it is. I don't want to boot them. Hopefully this just puts them backstage. Let's see. Yes, they're just backstage. Good. Okay. We are ready to go. Nah, they're backstage.
Yeah, Gerald, we going to the ship, my dog. Let's go. All right. Week 3, baby. And Nick, I'm going to intro now. We need to get a theme song. Let's make that a goal by let's say week 5. This is week 2. Okay. That's a lofty goal. By week 5, we're going to have a theme song. I think Jack Beedick was the one who was on my case about that. Either way, week 2, pod 3, 2024.
Phil Carafiello in to make the theme song. Who do we know that can make beats?
Oh no, he's way too rich busy for that now. Yeah, he's way too rich. All right, week 2, baby. Parlay God is here. Let's go. Week 2 NFL. What a week 1. Incredible week. Nick, your gambling wasn't great, but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Gambling went 0 for 2. Fantasy went 4-0. So you can't win them all.
That's incredible. I mean, you barely won 4 games all last year, so I'm happy for you. That's well done. You got to start somewhere, and 4-0 is not a bad place to start. So let's recap. But before we recap, the greatest sponsor, Nick, you saw the check hit your bank account, or did I not transfer it?
I think you forgot to send that, bro.
All right, it's all in my bank account. We got the raise, the greatest company ever, Diet Smoke. Code Nick and Bean. Remember, there's an E on the end of that. Will get you 20% off your first order. So all you guys coming back for more, it's only the first order now, okay? Gummies, vapes, sodas, merch, everything you can imagine. Strong, weak, right in the middle. It's not light. It's just right. Diet Smoke, absolutely fantastic product. Code Nick and Bean, E on the end. All right, recap. Nick, great fantasy week for you, as you said. You were 0-2. And it's funny you were 0-2 because you were weary of that hook on the Dolphins game where it was minus 3.5. And we make the epic comeback. And of course, we win by 3. So that was tough. And then I'll give you a pass on the other one because you didn't know how. I mean, we knew the Bengals were in shambles. We didn't know Higgins was out and Jamar Chase was faking shitting himself for a day. And the Bengals got fucking waxed by the Patriots. They lose outright. Your teaser doesn't hit. Rough week for you betting.
I don't know who saw that coming. And I almost took people probably would have taken Cincy straight up, but I was like, okay, let's play it safe. Let's tease them. And they lost straight up, outright. It was crazy. Very disappointing.
Yeah, rough week for you. I will say I may or may not have seen that coming. We did get off of them in Survivor. So maybe we saw it coming. Maybe we just got lucky. Now, my bets. The Cards, baby. The Cardinals came to play. We knew their defense was ass, but we knew Kyler was going to scramble, and the Bills' defense ain't that good. So the Cardinals actually end up losing by just 6 after being up 17-3. So they cover that 6.5. My under in that exactly that Cowboys Browns under, I felt like should have hit, but the Browns just got out of hand. Deshaun is, the guy is cashed. He needs to go home. He needs to quit. He's got another, and this isn't even like a massage charge. This is like a full-on rape charge he's got now. This guy is a fucking predator. Go home, brother. Okay?
I didn't even hear about that.
It's terrible. The last bet of the week for the prop bet, for the pod picks, was my David Montgomery anytime touchdown scorer, and he waited till overtime. He got the touchdown. What a great week, okay? Prop God, of course. One pick only because he didn't go with Bass, even though I think Bass probably would have hit. But Bass, there was a bunch of wind in Buffalo, and we told you if it was over 10 miles an hour, he wasn't taking it. Jason Myers hit very easily. So combined, I went 2-1. You're 0-2. Prop God is 1-0. Guys, everyone here, Patrick, Gerald, Rome, everyone, we're happy you're here. And we have a special guest for you, Nick. I'm going to let you intro him.
Yeah, so we're bringing in a ringer here. We've got Scotty.
What's going on?
Scotty's got his.
How we doing?
We're doing good, man. You want to let them know about your podcast?
Terrible intro. Come on, give me a hype intro. Give me something, Nick.
I don't got any hype. Today. Scotty, he won the tattoo league last year.
Yeah, so like Nico just said, I won the tattoo league last year. I've been playing fantasy for over a decade. Started my own little podcast on the side as well. Stadiums to Screen. Check me out, like me on there. And I'm to be here with you guys and talk about some of these games that happened last week and what we got going on this week.
You got Stadiums to Screen on IG? What platforms can they find you on?
IG, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all of them.
All right, he's on all platforms.
And this guy's bringing fucking fans. We got people in the comments right now talking him up. He won the fantasy league, the tattoo league, which I don't know about the competition because Nick's in it. Maybe he's just the lay down of the league. But clearly he knows the stuff. Got his own pod. Scotty, we appreciate you here, brother. Excited to talk football with you. So what we're going to do is we got an action-packed pod. So we're going to recap some of the main games of week 1. We are going to hop in and preview week 2. Scotty's going to roll with us for all of that. And then we are going to give you our pod picks. We'll bring in the prop god and roll with it. Let me see. What do we got, Andre? Give me your honest opinion on fantasy leagues with kickers in it. Andre, fucking hell, you must be reading my mind, brother, because I swear to you, I wrote in my notes that after this last week, in the league I commission, I will be banning kickers starting next year. I haven't even talked to any of the league members about it, and I don't care because I'm a fucking dictator, but I am fucking banning kickers. What a ridiculous week. 4 of the top 20 scorers were kickers. 4 of the top 20.
Yeah,
And if you
fucking
took out
insane.
QBs, it was 4 of the top 16. Absolutely ridiculous week. But let me stop going off on a tangent here. Let's jump in, Nick. First game of the week that we are going to recap. Obviously, we got to go back to Thursday night. All right. They gave us a treat. They gave us an incredible week 1 overall. But the first game of the week, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, incredible game. Nick, give me your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, so I mean, we're both very excited about this game. These are two of some of the best teams in the AFC. We had Baltimore actually with the number 1 offense in week 1 with 452 overall yards. And they were actually number 3 in offensive DVOA and somehow still lost that game. The Chiefs, honestly, their roster looks better than last year. So it's going to be a spicy season.
All right, for the real analysis, Scotty, what you got on this game? What do you think about it?
I mean, for this game, it was, like you said, it was a great game. It was a great way to kick off the season. We had Lamar Jackson toting the rock for 122 yards on the ground, which was surprising to me. I thought they were going to lean more heavy to Derrick Henry since they brought him in with that. And then on the other side of the ball, the Chiefs couldn't get their running game going, even with the threat of Patrick Mahomes throwing it like he does. I mean, Pacheco had the ball for 15 carries, only ran it for 45 yards. So they definitely gotta clean that up a little bit because I mean, essentially, some of these defenses are going to be able to slow down Mahomes, not necessarily stop him. Nobody can stop him, but if they can't get that running game going, then it's gonna be a rough time for them, I think.
Yeah, I agree. As a Pacheco stan and owner in multiple leagues, I'm gonna and a Patrick Mahomes owner. I'm gonna chalk a lot of the low production up to playing the number 1 defense. Maybe not number 1, but they were a top 3 defense last year. Really solid all around. And the new D coordinator really called a hell of a game because they were in that. They easily could have won that game. It came down to the end. I was surprised. Lamar, you're not going to be able to run like that all year, brother. You cannot do that. 16 carries, like you said, over 120 yards, probably more than he had all of last year, which is hilarious. But really, last year, remember, he was a lot thicker and he was standing in the pocket more. He came in slim. He looked way faster. Harbaugh even said it after the game, too. Like, Derrick Henry's not going to be some workhorse back. They want him to get 10 to 15 carries a game, maybe a couple catches. And I'm sure once we get later in the year and we get to the playoffs, they'll lean on him more. But I just don't think Lamar's going to play like that too much of the season, or it's not going to last. We've seen him in previous years when he starts running too much, he takes unnecessary hits. He gets too intense and too involved in the game and wants to take on hits that he can't fucking manage. So I thought it was an incredible game. Chiefs are a juggernaut, got to be the favorites, obviously, to go back to the Super Bowl. Mahomes is, I mean, Worthy's speed is ridiculous. To add that in,
good.
Yeah,
Hollywood's not even back. I mean, gonna be tough to beat the Chiefs this year.
I'll be honest. I'll be surprised to see Hollywood Brown in the first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. That injury is nothing to mess with.
All right.
What injury does he have?
First.
It's something with like his chest and collarbone area that if he gets to hit the wrong way, that could like DeMar Hamlin 2.0.
Oh,
true. And he's not a very big guy.
What you mean, death survivor / starting safety for the Buffalo Bills, America's man, DeMar Hamlin.
Shout out to DeMar Hamlin, by the way.
What a fucking comeback for him.
DeMar Hamlin's winning Nico championships in our league.
You feel me?
Oh, yeah, I remember that too.
Shout out to him.
Only league Nick's ever won. All right, let's go down to
I don't know if that's true.
Let's go down to Brazil. Patrick, please. He just asked in the chat who wins the World Series. I don't even know what a World Series is. Is that soccer or fucking cricket or something?
Just for you, Pat, though, we're going to go with the Dodgers, though, so you can hit that.
There you go. Our MLB expert on the pod today. Let's go down to Brazil. Sloppy game. The field was fucking trash. You saw it. Everyone's slipping everywhere. Saquon absolutely dominates. First game in Philly, 3 touchdowns. Jordan Love gets hurt at the end. Scotty, give me your thoughts on this game. Anything that stuck out to you?
I mean, what stuck out to me, honestly, was Saquon had a great opening night with the Eagles over there, but Josh Jacobs looked great in the backfield for the Packers as well. I mean, he was cutting it up. He actually averaged more yards per carry than Saquon did, and behind a much, much lesser offensive line than what the Eagles got over there. And then it was a quiet night for A.J. Brown until it wasn't, and he did A.J. Brown things. And Devontae Smith, again, I don't know how many hits he can keep taking at his frame, but if he keeps producing like that, they got a nice little 1-2 punch over there in Philly.
Agreed. Nick, what you got here?
Yeah, man, I was impressed with what Saquon did in fantasy-wise. 30-something points in most leagues. I believe that he has a chance of finishing as the RB1 overall this season. Behind that offensive line with the threat of Jalen Hurts plus him running the ball, I think they're going to do some big things over there in Philly.
Love it. We got Felix in the building. Fly, Eagles, fly. I know he's an Eagles fan. Yeah, the Giants head office definitely in shambles after that offseason hard knocks. Let's pay Daniel Jones instead of Saquon. Yeah, probably not the greatest idea. Jaden Reed had a great game. I threw him in last minute in a couple leagues. I'm a big fan. Obviously, with Jordan Love going out for probably 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Don't love him moving forward right now. But big win for the Eagles, man. When you turn it over, you look that sloppy in the beginning and you come away with a W, it's always a good day at the office. All right, let's move on to the third game of the day. Oh, we got a question from Kevin. What's my opinion on the new kickoff? Honestly, like it looked really funny. Like tuning into the game and seeing it looked funny. But I thought it actually, after the first 2 games, we were like, oh, nothing's changed. And then Sunday, it was electric. We had a few sick kickoff returns, and I'm not totally opposed to it. But yeah, it definitely is an eyesore. Third game.
Both those teams in Brazil
Nick.
actually had high-powered offensive. They were the number 3 and number 4 offense overall in the week with 414 yards and 410 yards. Yeah.
And who's the Eagles running back?
Who knows?
My dog. All right. Third game. This was the game of the weekend for us Miami fans. First of all, we are not going to get into the whole situation, but when you get fucking cuffed up and terrible. I mean, these cops are fucking ridiculous, but he gets cuffed up, thrown on the ground at 10:30, 11 a.m., and he's scoring an 80-yard touchdown to turn around the game at like 2:30 p.m. Just an incredible Scotty Scheffler-like day from Tyreek Hill. But the Dolphins, honestly, for me, I'll give my quick input in the game, and then I'm going to throw it to you guys. But for me, I love to see us win like this. We came out. We looked like absolute dog shit in the first half. Tua looked a little bit hesitant. Tyreek was definitely shook a little bit. Our line was getting pushed around by Walker and Hines Allen from the Jaguars. That sounded weird to say Hines Allen, but that's his name now. And we just looked terrible. I think it was 17-3 or something like that. And the resilience we showed, Tua's 2 long passes. The play to Tyreek was incredible. Obviously, the Jags kind of gave us the opportunity with that ETN fumble into the end zone. But guess what? We pounced on it. I like to see us win ugly. It was a great win for us. What are you guys' thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so the Dolphins did not look that great in the trenches, to be honest with you. And we had like a pretty, I don't know if you want to call it fluky, because Javon Holland did go for that punch, but you got the Jags pressing to score again. We get a punch out, ball back, and an 80-yard touchdown. So that's a 14-point swing right there.
Yep.
That's basically the game right there in about, I don't know, maybe a minute and a half.
It was literally, I think, back-to-back plays or 2 or 3 plays. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was back-to-back plays.
Yeah, it was right after the punch out from Holland, which, like Nico just said, saved a touchdown. So it was a 14-point swing since literally the next play they go and get that 80-yard bomb. Just looking at some of the numbers, though, the Dolphins with their 7 people that toted the rock yesterday only had a 3.2 average on the ground. Or on Sunday, I should say. That's not good, especially when Tua was struggling early, and then finally we're starting to get those connections. But if they can't get that passing game going, they're definitely not going to be able to get the running game going, especially with Mostert now out tomorrow, and then A-Chain still up in the air. Who knows how long they'll both be out? But I mean, Jeff Wilson and then Jalen Wright hopefully come in and take over the way they should. Jeff Wilson actually looked the best out of the backfield yesterday, besides A-Chain catching all those passes. So
I agree.
We'll see what happens.
Mostert looked a little bit old, but maybe he got hurt earlier in the game than we thought. Yeah. Question for you guys. I want to get your opinion on this. Jacksonville Jaguars, playoff team or not? Just yes or no. Nick?
Ooh. Gun to my head, I will say no. I need to see the rest of their division, though, to like really like confirm that.
Yeah,
yes
if I'm going,
Scotty.
If I'm going just off yes or no, then it's a no. But I got him as the 8th seed, so I'm just missing.
Got it. Yeah, I think I think Jacksonville's actually a lot better than people think. I think we'll look back on that game and be like, all right, that's why we struggled. Solid defense, and Lawrence has to take the next step. And I think this is the year he does it. I wouldn't be surprised if they win that division in a close battle with Houston, or they do take down a wild card spot.
Brian Thomas looked good.
Brian Thomas looked
is a
great.
nice
Good
addition to the
point.
team.
Holy shit, guys. Let's take a moment.
Brian-
Nick, watch the game. Holy fuck. Felix says
Brian
it's
Thomas looked good.
Miami. The cops definitely had money on the line. Also, McDaniels has completely transformed into a Miami guy. So true. He looks like a
Very true.
fucking low-end
Kingpin
coke
now.
dealer from Hialeah. It's incredible. All right.
Very
Let's
true.
get out of Miami. Great win for us. 2 more games we're going to go over. Speaking of the
Yeah.
Texans, they roll into to Indianapolis and just had an awesome back and forth with the Colts. I'll say it right now. Anthony Richardson, you guys know I hate him. I hate Anthony Richardson. Hell of a fantasy day, but he did what we expected. I mean, he was terrible through the air. Now, one of the best passes I've ever seen in my life. I can put my hand up. I
That
can
was
say
a
it. I
hell
can
of a
admit
throw.
it. Falling
Probably
back.
best pass of the weekend.
Yep, 63.4 yards through the air. In the next gen era, it's a top 5 longest air yard pass. Absolutely
3.
incredible
Wow.
throw. Top 3. There we go, Scotty, my guy. So
Wow.
let me
The
ask
only,
you.
two, the only 2 that were longer than that were Hail Marys.
Epic call. So, yeah, he's got a cannon. Now, he threw a 65-yard touchdown and another 50-yard touchdown or pass to Alec Pierce. His total stats for the day, throwing the ball, 9 for 19 for 211 yards. I mean, the guy, he's terrible in the pocket, but guess what? If he keeps the starting job, I might have to admit it, he's probably going to be good for fantasy because he had a big fantasy day. Now, they lost the game, of course, because the Texans are a better team and because he can't hit he can't hit anyone. I mean, he had A.D. Mitchell wide open for 2 touchdowns and didn't even get anywhere near him. But, Scotty, what are your thoughts on this game? Anything stick out to you from here?
So I'm on the complete opposite. I love watching AR play. It was just an exciting game to watch. With Anthony Richardson, I mean, he had 9 for 19. That's basically what we're going to get with him. But he also added 56 yards on the ground, which, I mean, he's a less accurate but has a bigger arm than Cam Newton. And that was a lot of fun to watch, too, back when he was healthy.
Don't even put him in the same sentence. That's an NFL MVP we're talking about.
And if AR can get it together and hit these short passes, then he'll be in that conversation, especially with his legs and size. But he also has to stay healthy for a year. But to go to the other side of the ball, I mean, just the debut for Mixon and Stephon Diggs and Houston was fantastic. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, 30 carries for Mixon on the ground, 159 yards. And then Stephon with the 6, but only 33 yards in the air, but 2 of them for Tug. So he was happy. And then, CJ Stroud, I hated him in college. I'm a big Michigan fan. So to see an Ohio State quarterback actually succeed in the league is A, rare, and B, makes me throw up a little bit. But I got him in a couple fantasy leagues, and he had a decent day on the fantasy side of it. So
for sure.
I mean, out of the 2 quarterbacks, who would you want in fantasy? Probably AR because of his ground prowess. But if you're an NFL team, you want CJ Stroud. There's no question about it.
Easily.
Of
Easily.
course.
The Houston
Nick,
Texans offense.
Nick, give me your CJ Stroud thoughts.
Yeah, so the Houston Texans offense looked amazing. They were the number 2 offense behind the Baltimore Ravens, and I expect them to be a powerhouse this year. They're a playoff team, and I think they're going to be scoring points on all day.
All right. Sounds good. My closing thoughts on that game. CJ Stroud, top 5 NFL quarterback easily. I do lean Michigan as well, Scotty, but one of the easier bets of the weekend was Texas. I mean, that Michigan team is terrible.
Yeah, we're not looking good.
I am now 85% convinced that Joe Mixon is on the James Conner juice, which everyone knows is those steroids he took when he got to Arizona, and they work really fucking well. And I agree with Gerald when he says he's terrible in the Charles Barkley voice about Anthony Richardson. All right, last game from last week we're gonna review, and this was probably the best played game of the week. It was Sunday night. It was a rematch of the first round of the playoffs. And we got Stafford back in Detroit again. And Cooper Kupp and him put on a show, and they still came up short in overtime. Nick, what stuck out to you about this game?
Yeah, so both these offenses were top 10 on the week. We had the Detroit Lions with 363 overall yards and the Rams with 387 overall yards. Matthew Stafford looked good, and so did what's I'm gonna call it? Freaking Jared Goff. I almost had a brain fart real quick. But yeah, I was really, really shocked that Amon-Ra St. Brown was not very involved. I think it took, I don't remember what point in the game where he got his second target. It was probably close to halftime or something like that. But they're doing it without him.
Yep, Scotty.
Yeah. I mean, 21 targets to Cooper Kupp is just asinine, honestly. 21 targets to one specific receiver. Most people don't see that for 4-week experience.
Yeah.
We'll see if that keeps up, which, I mean, it should. It's Cooper Kupp. It's Matthew Stafford. They have such a great connection. They won a Super Bowl together by doing that. So we'll see if that goes. Fun fact of the week is that Matthew Stafford was only the second quarterback, one of two quarterbacks to throw for over 300 yards the entire weekend, the other one being Tua. So not a big production day for the quarterbacks through the air. And the fact that Matthew Stafford, who was also the second oldest quarterback to start this weekend, was the one to do the other one. That's pretty impressive on that front.
Yeah, you see on the TV, he's graying in the beard. Like he's got like some gray going on in the beard.
Dude, every hit he takes, I think he's dead.
Done. He's done for. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, he was taking the focus on the top corners from the Rams, but that just opened it up for Jameson Williams to finally, have that breakout game that everybody's been expecting from him since he came over from Alabama. And
yeah. And he was talking cash. He was talking cash hit at the end. He got in the face of the quarterback that was guarding him all game.
He's like I love Jameson Williams. He's like a 13-year-old kid. You saw his interviews. He's absolutely hilarious.
I love him.
I am going to set the line of 4.5 on games until Cooper Kupp dies for the season and probably gets hurt because there's no way he's lasting, especially with Puka out. If he's getting even 10 to 15 targets a game, he's due to get hurt soon, unfortunately. And secondly, if you can trade whatever you can for Amon-Ra in any fantasy league, this is the only moment you may have because he's going for 10 for 100 plus and at least a touchdown next week. You can book
100%. 100%.
All right.
I don't know who's going to be willing to get rid of him.
Hey, you might have a chance. I just offered Justin Jefferson for him. Maybe the guy bites. Who knows? And I'm going to offer AJ Brown in another league for him. So if you can, you might as well take a shot. I still got him as I don't know. Tyreek's probably my number one still. CD and Amon-Ra are right there together. CD looked great, but they just blew out the Browns, so he didn't really get too much work. All right. Week 1 was fantastic. Week 2, guys, we are going to we're going to go through 5 games here. The first one, obviously, we're going to go through briefly is tomorrow night. We don't need to give any picks in this game, but, Dolphins, Bills, they've tortured us for the last 2-3 years. I think they're 6-1 or 5-1 in our last few years against them. Josh Allen really does play well against us. He's got the hand injury. He did land on the hand. He looked like he was a little bit hurt. It's not his throwing hand. I expect him to play because he's a fucking monster. Nick, are we going to win this game or what?
I mean, it's tough, man. The Finns are favored. You have here -1.5. I think it's out to -2. Josh Allen
-2.5, I think.
-2.5. Wow, that's
and all the
tough.
sharp money, all the public money, everything's on the Dolphins. Everyone's expecting.
Oh my goodness. Maybe I teased the Bills, but yeah. So Josh Allen seen wearing a glove on his non-throwing hand during practice today. We've got injuries with the Miami Dolphins at running back. We've got Mostert already declared out. We've got Achane with a game time decision. So it's looking tough. We got Jordan Poyer with a revenge game. We'll see. The part that I don't love about this game that we were talking about earlier in some of the group chats is we got the Bills down here early on in the season when we could be taking advantage of the heat, and we're playing them at night. that just takes the wind out of me.
Nick,
Yeah.
I just walked outside to walk my dogs before the podcast. It's 1,000 degrees, brother.
It's still
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Patrick, my dog, Dolphins cover. I absolutely love that. Oh, and the public money is actually flipping towards the Bills. The big bettors and the sharp money is all on the Dolphins. I feel like we should win this game. If we don't, I'll be pretty sad. Scotty, you got anything on this before we go to the next game?
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that the Bills have killed the Dolphins with has been Stephon Diggs, and he's not there anymore. So we'll see if they can have anybody step up in his spot. I mean, the two games last year, he had, I think, like 14 or 15 catches for almost
Killed us.
200 yards in those 2 games alone. So not having him there this year, I mean, Keon Coleman's going to be good, but he's a rook. We'll see. I mean,
Ramsey's the perfect corner matchup for him too, because he's
100%.
not too fast, and Ramsey can play physical with him. Hopefully, Poyer can step up and limit the tight ends. I'm sure James Cook's going to get his work, but if we can limit everyone else and not let Josh Allen run on us, we can take care of business for sure.
exactly. That's what it comes down to.
I think Dawson Knox actually had a bigger game than Kincaid last
He did.
game.
Let's not
Thursday.
talk about it, Nick. Let's not talk.
Well,
It was
I've got
it
that.
was a terrible week
that
for all
season on
fantasy tight ends.
Yeah, the tight ends were terrible. Nick does have the yards bet under on Dalton Kincaid, so
Yeah.
good start for you, Nick.
But I've also gotten Njoku, and Njoku's already been declared out for this game.
Oh, that's true. He's going to be out probably a few weeks. So, all right, I'll tell you, when I went through the rest of the schedule, it was tough to find some really good games. They're not great from here on out. A lot of big spreads. I was trying. Usually the games we pick are pretty close spreads, 1 to 4 points, but it was tough to find. So this first game, we're going to find the Niners going to Minnesota, -6. The over-under's 45.5. This is a Darnold semi-revenge game, as he was a backup in San Francisco last year, and he's the starter for the Vikings now. He looked solid. Obviously, it was against the Giants, so very tough to give that any worth. But I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it here. I mean, the Niners looked incredible. Like this line only being 6 is a little sketchy. Like it could easily be higher than that. You lean in either way here, Scotty?
I think the only reason why it's 6 is because the Niners are on a short week and they have to go over to Minnesota. Other than that, I think the Niners cover this easy. Christian McCaffrey doesn't matter. Jordan Mason has the most rushes ever in a single game in one game under Kyle Shanahan. So they obviously know what they're doing over there. They got too many offensive weapons. Defense is way too stout. Niners cover this game easy. It's not even going to be a contest, I don't think.
I like it. Sharp money coming in on that Niners spread as well. Nick, you got a pick here? What do you got here?
I don't got a pick. I would lean Niners. We've got Niners coming in as a top 5 offensive output on the week. Like he said, Christian McCaffrey was out that game, but I do think he probably does make a comeback. We'll see as the week develops.
He said he's good to go. I just read a report about an hour and a half ago. He says, I'm good to go. So I'm sure whoever spent 150 of their 200 fab on Jordan Mason's not happy.
Yeah, so the Niners are kind of a powerhouse. I talked about them last week about them. I think they're a big favorite to go back to the Super Bowl. And at least the NFC Championship game. So yeah, I don't think this game's a big competition. Maybe they don't cover 6, but I don't think it's a close game.
All right, sounds good. And we got Gerald in the chat. I think he's talking about the Dolphins and Josh Allen. He says we need a QB spy on him. Could not agree more. All right, next game we're going to. This is a fun one. I was surprised to see this spread so large after the way the Bucs played last week. Baker Mayfield, I think he was like a top 2 or 3 fantasy quarterback. He was fantastic. The Bucs travel to Detroit. Detroit is -7. The over-under is 50.5. And if you remember, this is a playoff matchup from last year, second round, and the Bucs hung around. And I mean, how many times are we going to say it? Will Mike Evans ever get his respect? Where is he, Nick?
Bro,
right now, is he a top 10 receiver in the league? For sure, right?
Ooh, I think so.
See,
Yeah.
This is the problem with America, that we have to even pause on that.
Yeah, the fact
mean,
that
this
you
guy-
paused on that was terrible.
And you know what? I think most people would pause on it, Scotty. And that's the thing, is this guy does it year in and year out, but he doesn't do it flashy. And Tampa Bay, being the poverty crap franchise that it is, no one watches it. So he just goes, he puts up 1,000 to 1,400 yards every year, and he just dominates. And if you were to say, is he a top 10 receiver? Well, you got Tyreek, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, A.J. Brown. Like, people don't even mention him in the top 5, but he's just a fucking machine. Rashad White looked good. Even Bucky Irving, the backup, looked decent.
Mhm.
Chris Godwin caught a touchdown. He looks like he's back. So why is this spread a full 7?
Yeah, honestly, I'm probably going to end up betting the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm just a little
That's
nervous about
why.
it, but I'm probably gonna
That
end up
is
betting
why
it.
it's a full 7. There we
Yep.
go. We just figured out, because Nick is the sucker. He's taking the Bucks. That's why it's the full 7.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas probably looking at this and said, "Oh, the Bucks played Washington, and they were nothing. They're still probably going to be nothing this year." While the Lions were on a primetime game against, essentially a rival with Matthew Stafford and man under center over there in LA still. So, I think they have higher hopes for the Lions, but I can see Tampa covering, but it'll should be a shootout either way.
You'll know in the first half of the first quarter. I mean, if Tampa comes out good and has a good first or second drive, scores, and they have a slight lead, they'll be in the game. If Detroit gets up early and they can start leaning on you with the run game, it's going to be impossible. Montgomery looks like an absolute machine. Gibbs looked healthy. I mean, they have so many weapons. What they've done in Detroit is just really special. And it's crazy to say, but they're really Super Bowl or bust this year, which is fucking insane. 3 years ago, if 3 years ago, if you said that the Lions are going to be Super Bowl or bust in 2024, people would think you're on drugs. All right.
Yeah, and go
oh, you got something? Go ahead.
No, it was back on Mike Evans. Did you see that touchdown catch that he had?
No, it was like between his legs or something. Like,
he would have scored that on anyone in the league. There's no way anyone can guard that.
No, he's unguardable.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's the Mr. Consistency. Like you said, you're getting 1,208 touchdowns minimum a year, and who wouldn't want that on their team? Who wouldn't consider that a top 10 quarterback? I mean, receiver.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. All right, let's go. Let's talk about let's go back to the Rams. They are traveling to Arizona. Arizona, the favorite, -1.5 there. Over under 49.5. I don't know how Arizona can be favored against this team. I know it's at home. I know Kyler Murray looks solid, but it's a very another suspicious line. Again, we're only in week 2, so I expect more suspicious lines than if we're in week 8 and we have a ton of data on these teams. But this makes me want to bet the Cardinals, but their defense is so bad. Their defense is absolutely terrible. They're going to have to get 3 guys to guard Cooper Kupp, and you're probably going to have Tyler Johnson or fucking Demarcus Robinson eaten against this team. Nick, I know you're betting. Are the Rams going to be one of your picks? They got to be.
They aren't one of my picks. But, I mean, the Cardinals were number 1 in offensive overall DVOA, so that kind of shocked me when I saw them at the top of the board. But
the Bills' defense might be really bad, though. They might be real bad. We'll see tomorrow night.
Yeah, when you look at that overall offensive output, they are nowhere near the top. They're more like middle of the pack, while the Rams were at top 10. So I would lean Rams. I don't know if I'm going to bet them, though.
Got it. Scotty, what are you thinking, brother?
Yeah, I mean, with this game, I probably won't touch the line, but I'll definitely take the over on this game.
I like
49.5 is just both these defenses are honestly not that great. So, yeah, I can see the over smashing by the end of the third quarter, honestly.
49.5. I like that over as well. All right, let's wrap up the week 2 preview with, and I actually think they renamed the stadium. I don't think it's Arrowhead anymore, but what they called Burrowhead. I got a question, guys. Have you seen the video of Joe Burrow trying to pick up a water bottle?
Yes.
All right. I am officially, I was concerned before the season. I don't have any Joe Burrow or any Jamar Chase in any fantasy leagues. And Jamar Chase is one of my favorite players because of the concern about the wrist. If I'm a fan of the Bengals, I'm a 10 out of 10 concerned after last week. They lose to the Patriots.
Sure.
his wrist looked terrible. Let me tell you this. The least pressure he's ever faced in an NFL game was last week. If someone told you that, would you believe that? No, because he was so bad. He got pressured. He didn't even get pressured, and he never took a shot down the field. He can't pick up a water bottle. He's flexing his wrist every 5 seconds. I'm panicked if I'm a Joe Burrow fan, if I'm a Joe Burrow fantasy owner, or if I'm a Bengals fan.
Yeah, he came out and said that the wrist isn't bothering him and there's no reason for concern, but
Bullshit.
I think he lying. I think he is lying.
Scotty, what you got in this game? Are you leaning either way? What do you think?
Oh, I mean, Chiefs cover almost too easily.
Right? It might be too easy, right?
Yeah, I mean,
At Chiefs.
It's minus
Bengals,
5.
Yeah, it's -5. The Bengals just let Ramondre Stevenson run all over them. If you don't think Pacheco's going to have a bounce back game this week compared to last week when he was averaging 3 yards a carry, it's going to be a no-brainer. Then they don't have enough speed to keep up with Rice or Xavier Worthy, and then their offense just looked terrible. I mean, I've had the same surgery on my wrist that Joe Burrow had, and your wrist is never the same, and I don't even play NFL quarterback. So
wait, hold on. You've had the surgery?
yeah.
Holy shit, we got inside source. So what are our thoughts? We need so is he fucked?
I mean, mine was on my non-dominant hand, his on his dominant hand. Plus, like I said, he's a professional athlete. I'm not, so a lot of different variables in that. But but when it comes down to it, I mean, my hands never felt the same since then. So it's probably just going to take some getting used to for him for sure.
Well, you guys heard it first on the Nick and Bean pod. We have a former professional athlete telling you that Joe Burrow is never getting back to form. Like I said, Kansas City's -5, over under 47.5. Like I said last week, and it hit, I love the Isaiah Pacheco anytime touchdown here. I think that's a solid one. And I also think that old Taylor Swift's boyfriend gets back into the end zone after not. I mean, we didn't even see him last week, and you could say it about almost every tight end across the league, but he did he did absolutely nothing. So if I'm taking a bet here, I'm taking the Pacheco touchdown. All right, Scotty, you the man, brother. We appreciate you. We're gonna definitely have you back on. Plug the pod again for the people.
Yeah, so it's Stadiums to Screen, the number 2 on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Follow me on there, and I'm posting more and more content daily. So. See you guys over there.
All right, beautiful.
All right,
Peace,
Scotty. Shout out, boss.
Thank you, boys. Peace.
All right.
All right, Bean, what you got?
Bring in Prop God while we got Andre talking about Scotty. Andre says Scotty's wrist is so strong, he ripped my door handle off my car once. I mean, fucking dude. I mean, beat it. Prop God, can you believe we just got an insider info on the wrist injury?
I was loving it, man. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm giving him the prop god seal of approval. So we've had some guests on the show, and I say we as a collective, the 3 of us. Yes. You know, we've had EJ with his whiteboard.
Oh, that was epic.
We've had some guys. People have been good. People have been all right. Scotty was crushing it. I'm definitely giving his pod a try.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. I knew we would actually get some real analysis now that we had Scotty this week. Nick, I was talking to Nick before, and he was like, yeah, thank God Scotty's coming because I don't know anything, basically. No, I'm kidding.
That's the charm of the show, though, right? You know, like not knowing the Eagles running back is phenomenal. And then he gets Brian Thomas, the most boring two first name guy in the league. Like that's
pulls that out of nowhere.
Like, that's why the people listen, you know? It's for moments like that.
To be clear, I did get the Eagles running back. It just might have taken me about 45 seconds.
Okay. That's true. You did. All right. So, pod picks. Nick 0-2. Just not good. Got to bounce back this week. 2-1 for me. 1-0 from Prop God. So, if you took all our bets, I mean, you're still, let's see, you're still 50, or no, you're over 50-50. You were 4-3 on the week. And let's build on that, boys. I'm going to give my first bet. We'll go to Nick. And then, well, how many do we each have? I got 3 bets. Nick, how many you got?
I'm giving out 3 possible bonus of 4.
Okay. And
nice.
PG, what you got?
I think I got 3. I got perfect. Like 9 written down, but I was going to do 2 or 3. There's
Oh,
a
I like.
lot that like don't fit the rules of the show that I try to live by, but I'll mention them
Okay.
at the end.
All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we swing it to you first? You fire one out. Stick with us for the whole pod pick segment. We'll go prop god Nick, me, prop god Nick, me, and we'll just pass it around, pass the rock around, do our thing. So, what's our first bet, prop god?
I love that. I love that idea. I want to just recap. We've got some new people in here, and I just want to
Okay.
talk about last year.
The rules.
22-9. No.
22 and 9.
22-9 record
22
on
and 9.
player prop bets. Okay. We're not taking these bets that are like minus 200, minus 150. Like most of these bets are minus 110, even. And we ended up kind of finding these kicker props of over 1.5 field goals for a kicker. Yes. So that's where I'm starting today. First prop of the week is Justin Tucker over 1.5 field goals. Okay. The Ravens play the Raiders at home, and we have our 4 criteria that we live by. Do we have the good offense that can move the ball down the field?
Check.
Do we have a good weather game? I can tell you that we do in Baltimore. Do we have a good kicker / a kicker who hasn't been missing field goals a lot lately?
Never in his life.
Yeah. I think Tucker did miss one last week, but
no,
it's like
he actually he kind of sucks over 50 yards the last 2 years, but we don't need to talk about that. Keep going.
We don't care. Yeah. Okay. And 4 is we don't really have many of these in the league anymore, but coaches who love going for it on 4th. And the only one we have now that Mr. Chargers crazy fucking dude is gone, is Campbell on the Lions. He's the only one that I won't take because they go for it too much. So we've got our 4 criteria. Justin Tucker over 1.5 field goals. I think it's like minus 115 on Hard Rock.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but we expect that the Ravens are going to have the ball on the Raiders side of the field for most of this game. There's going to be a lot of chances for touchdowns. There's going to be a lot of chances for field goals. That's why we're taking Justin Tucker over 1.5. Favorite prop of the week.
I love
Nick,
it.
Go to you, brother. What's our first pod pick?
I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 2.5. So the Pittsburgh Steelers only allowed 10 points last week when only 226 total yards. They're playing the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are a bottom 6 offense. They're probably a bottom 4 overall team. They had a measly 3.3 yards per play last week. And their number 1 receiver last week was Josh Reynolds. Their number 1 rusher was Bo Nix. That's not a sustainable formula to win games in this league. So the Steelers actually ended up winning the game without scoring a single touchdown. I don't think that they're going to go scoreless all against the Broncos. They had George Pickens. They had George Pickens averaging 14.2 yards per reception. So my first bet of the week is the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 2.5.
Beautiful.
Nice.
And that will roll it. Go ahead.
No, before we roll in, do we know who's starting that game for the Steelers at quarterback?
Fields.
I think Fields is starting, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Fields.
I like Fields way more over the Russ revenge game.
Honestly, I think if the Russ revenge game happens, they just don't let him throw the ball. He just hands it off and they still win, probably.
How about Russ?
I mean? Like, he's so
How about Russ
bad.
being announced out and he's on the sideline in full pads, bro? That guy's something special.
He's got to stay protected.
That was hilarious. He was the emergency quarterback, just so you know. So that's why he did that.
Okay.
All right, roll into my game. Here's a roll I always have. If you find some weird under that looks too low, too good to be true, it's probably going under. Okay. And I'm going to stay in that game. It's 36.5 in the Pittsburgh at Denver game. It looks too low. It's the most heavily bet over already on the board, 92% of the bets. and 55% of the money. I'm going under in that game. These teams suck. Their offenses suck. We know the Steelers have a fantastic defense. I think the only way I lose this bet is if TJ Watt scores 2 touchdowns. He may score 1. All right. He's not scoring 2. We'll take under 36.5. It should be something like 17-10 Pittsburgh, 21-10 Pittsburgh, something like that. That's what I'm seeing in this game. So I'll roll my first bet in with you, Nick. I'll take the under 36.5 and swing it back to PG for the second pick of the week.
I love it. What a smooth transition there, too. Second pick of the week. We're keeping it with the kickers, okay? We're not the sexy
Beautiful.
prop god. We're the prop god, okay? We take winners. That's the important thing. So for pick number 2, we're taking Jason Myers, the Seahawks kicker, playing at New England over 1.5 field goals, okay? We got the whole checklist again. We got the Seahawks with a good offense. We got a good weather game. We've got Jason Myers, who he was like the fantasy kicker 2 or 3 last year. 3. Yeah, Bean's holding up his fingers. I love him. He was on all my teams. And then Seahawks aren't the team to go for it on 4th. So I think Myers easily gets his 2. We hit it last week as our 1 pick. We're taking Jason Myers over 1.5 field goals again. And it is not up on Hard Rock, but based on last week ended up at plus 105. I expect this to be minus 110, maybe like minus 115. That's my prediction.
And the Nick and Bean pod, we do promote to gamble responsibly, right? Only gamble money you're willing to lose. Well, guess what, guys? I am going to gamble an irresponsible amount of money on that prop this week. I may put 10 grand on it. I am not sure yet. I may put everything I own on it, but we are going to ride that prop. That's the greatest pick of all time. Nick, what you got?
My next bet here is I was looking up for the to see if the bet online had the Myers prop, but my next bet here is Saints plus 6.5. The Saints also only allowed 10 points last week and only 193 overall yards. They had 180 yards rushing with 6.1 per yard per rush, 6.1 yards per rush last week. Their offense really seems to be humming. Even freaking bozo head ass. I can't even freaking think of his name. The quarterback whose younger brother, Derek Carr, had a good game. The Saints number 2 defense on the week with a top 10 offense. The Cowboys number 5 defense last week and a bottom 9 offense. I was like, did I read that right? Yeah, bottom 9 offense last week. They're only 2 slots ahead of the New York Giants on the week. So I like the Saints to cover. I believe, obviously, that the Cowboys are a better team than the Saints, but 6.5, too much points. Give me the Saints.
Who did the Saints play last week?
They blew out the Panthers by like 50.
Wait, Nick, the Panthers, are they any good?
The Panthers are not very good.
No, all right. And the Cowboys, who did they play? They played
the Panthers defense is pretty decent though.
They played the Browns. They got like the best defense in the league, right? And they blew them out. They blew them out. All right. So, all right. I'm not sure about this pick.
Now I feel bad because Bean's kind of ripping you on it. But I was going to say, we all joke in my group chat about like, there's going to be some dumbasses who think that the Saints are legit after that last game. And we're like, who are these people? Like, why is the line like this?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the Saints are even legit, but like there's sometimes those are lines that you're like, yo, this is so obvious. I think this is one of those times, and I'm taking the Saints to cover.
This is what, if this was week 10, week 12, Bean would be all over this game. He would hate the Saints,
hate so much, he loves it.
He would take it, okay? But it's week 2, so we're not there yet. So we hate it, but I get it.
No,
yeah, I'm confident in my pick.
After this, the Saints will probably win because we're talking shit, and because
exactly.
as much as you can't trust the Saints, I mean, it's the Cowboys. They can't be trusted either. So I don't blame you. I won't rip you anymore for the pick. Let me get into my second pick. I believe I'm up next, and this one I talked about briefly earlier. I love this bet. And as much as I'm putting on Jason Myers, I'm going to double that bet. And I am going to put it on Amon-Ra St. Brown, anytime touchdown scorer, plus 110.
Okay.
Listen, he was a decoy last week. The motion they put him in brain fucked the Rams offense into letting everyone else on the team do whatever they want. And guess who they get this week? They get a Bucs defense that is banged up. Okay. Antoine Winfield, I believe, is done for a few weeks. I think there's a couple other people who are not doing good. They really don't have much on defense. Okay. And Amon-Ra torched them in Tampa last year, and now they're inside in the dome. He's scoring a touchdown, guys. I promise you this. He is scoring a touchdown, plus 110. This is my favorite bet of the week. What you got, PG?
I actually love that bet. I would even consider looking on Hard Rock for, if they have these, a fantasy points Amon-Ra bet, because if he doesn't score a touchdown in some, by some account, he is going to have like 15 catches for like 160 yards. So I agree. He is blowing off.
I had his receptions. I think it was like, it was weird. It's only 6.5, but it's minus 150. It's just too much juice. Maybe the alt receptions. Maybe you take the they don't have the 8+ receptions on there. I almost like it like with less juice at 7.5 or 8.5. But either way,
the touchdown bet.
Yeah, the
I just
touchdown
wanted to
bet's what
throw
we're
that
rolling
out.
with.
I just saw these like fantasy points bets last week.
I don't know if Hard Rock has them. We'll have to look.
Yeah. Pick number 3. I'm not really sure if I can give this out on here because we don't usually do Thursday picks.
Well, it's Wednesday though. People got time to get it in.
Special edition Wednesday podcast, and you know what? We want to reward our loyal YouTube fan base here.
Exactly.
Who gets in on the early access.
YouTube special pick. Dun 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 dun. I have a feeling it's going to be our Dolphins defense holding the Bills to field goals. Am I right?
It is. You are wrong. So this, I think all 3 of you guys, the 2 of you and Scotty, did not like this pick, but I'm going to go with Keon Coleman over 3.5 catches. Okay.
Yeah.
Because last week, Keon Coleman had 4 catches on 5
51 yards. 51 yards. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right. The Bills threw it 23 times. Okay. He had like a 22% target share, which is crazy high. That's 1 out of every 5 passes was going to him. Okay. So they're going to get him the ball. They're putting him in that Diggs role. That's how I see it. They're just going to throw him in there and see how he does. And I went and looked, how has Stephon Diggs done against the Dolphins in these matchups? And he has like 7 catches for like 90 yards every time. So I know Jalen Ramsey is a guy that you guys like as Dolphins homers. But I'm saying Jalen Ramsey,
cornerback in the league,
is past his prime, and I'm not worried about it for this bet. Okay, 3.5 catches.
All right, Nick, cut him off. Cut him off.
Keon Coleman will be up to 5.5 catches in a few weeks, every week as his prop.
All right, I actually like the bet. I mean, it's only 4 catches. 33 yards, great win for Prop God. So let's just recap at the end. Nick, give me your last bet.
My last bet. This is another one that's a total that's pretty low, but I like it to go under. I've got Titans Jets under 40.5. The Titans, surprisingly, not that they played a juggernaut, the Titans were the number 1 defense in the league last week. The Jets have a great defense. They didn't rank good last week, but they played the San Francisco 49ers. I've got Titans, Jets, under 40.5 points to be scored. Mike Williams, decoy, didn't even see a target last week. Allen Lazard played okay.
Old ass.
played okay. And then the Titans offense, they had Tony Pollard that did pretty decent, but in general, outside of him, they didn't really have any shining bright stars. And their quarterback, I mean, Will Levis, he's not even a top 20 quarterback in the league. So yeah, give me the Titans Jets under 40.5 points.
Gerald, I know, right? This guy's talking trash on
Fucking
Jalen Ramsey.
Jerry. Who's Jerry?
But don't worry. Just take his bets. He was 22-9. It doesn't matter who he is as a person as long as he gives you winners. Now, my last bet. I'm going to say it right now. They're going to win this game outright. I'm telling you right now. The line's going to move. So don't even take it right now because you're going to get more points. It's plus 6.5 and it's Monday night. But the Falcons are going to beat the Eagles. I'm telling you this right now. The Falcons, they suck. Kirk Cousins looked 100. He couldn't even walk around in the pocket. They look like shit, right? They look terrible. But guess what? Their defense ain't that bad. Their defense was put in terrible spots all game. Didn't give up a touchdown. Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, Jude, they got weapons around the field. And the Eagles, they're good. The Eagles are a good team, but they're sloppy. And Hurts, they're still adjusting to no Kelsey. They put up a lot of points, but they look sloppy. And guess what? Everyone's going to be chasing their losses on Monday night. Everyone's going to have the Eagles in a teaser. Everyone's going to have Eagles money line parlayed with something. And guess what fucking Vegas is going to do? They're going to win all the money on the Falcons. Give me the 6.5. If you wait a couple days, you'll probably get 7 or 7.5 because it's trending that way. But I love this Falcons team. So let's recap the bets. Let's see if I can do it off the top of my brain. Prop God, Jason Myers, Justin Tucker, both over 1.5. Keon Coleman over 3.5 tomorrow night special. Nick's got the Saints, which is absolutely disgusting. It'll probably win. I'm gonna probably blank on your other one. What are the other two?
I've got the Steelers minus 2.5 and the Titans Jets over 40.5. I actually also took Falcons plus 6.5, but I couldn't give it out because Bean had wrote it in the notes before I got a chance to.
Oh God!
Wait.
I may need to retract my pick.
I'm retracting Nick's pick because he took Jets Titans under 41.5, not
under
over
40.
Yeah. Not
Did you say over?
Okay. He just said over. It is the under that he likes.
Okay.
Yeah, under
40.
Did I say
over? We'll check the tape.
It's under. It's under for the record, by the way. It is actually under.
Okay, so you've got Steelers, Saints, and the under in the Jets game. And I'm going to keep the Falcons plus 6.5. Nick didn't give it out, so it'll probably win.
No.
And I'm taking the Steelers Broncos under and the Sun God to score a touchdown. All right. Hey, people, we appreciate you tonight. We had an action-packed show. Scotty, my guy, crushed it. Check out his pod. He's still in the building. Scotty, give us the pod name again. I can't fucking remember. It's Stadiums to Screens or something.
Yeah, Stadiums to Screen, number 2.
Go.
Let's
number
get
2. All right.
Love it.
Prop God, we appreciate it. 4-3 as a combined team last week, even though Nick didn't win a bet, so we're still winning you money. And this week, the Dolphins are going to win tomorrow night. We will be back Thursday nights from next week on, because Dolphins this week, where obviously I got to go to the game. And from there on out, we will do Thursday nights and start around 7:30 on YouTube. We appreciate everyone. Appreciate Prop God. Appreciate Scotty. And we'll see you all next week. Oh, hold on.
Sorry. I wanted to give a
news.
special shout out. Okay. There's one person that I just wanted to call out with my podcast time, and that is my boy Brandon Aubrey. Okay. The kicking god.
Why aren't we taking him again?
Why aren't we taking Brandon Aubrey? I had to address this, okay?
Is it 2.5?
I had to cut out Bean's outro to end the show to address why we are not taking Brandon Aubrey, okay?
God.
Because his payout on Hard Rock is like minus 195 for over 1.5 field goals.
Yeah, minus
okay,
180.
So I don't give a shit. I'm still slamming that. It's not a prop pick, but Vegas is catching up to us on these kicking props. There's a few other guys too. Fairbairn was like minus 160. I liked him too. Like, they're catching us. Take these while we have them. Okay.
Max.
Things
Love
will
you,
never be
Aubrey.
the same after these go away. All right. We appreciate all the listeners. Peace, everyone. Have a good night.
Peace out, people.
Good shit.